Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank David for a lot of things. He's a tireless advocate, indefatigable, and he also opened the door for me to be able to begin writing for the Montague Reporter almost 20 years ago, and I'm still doing it every 2 weeks. So I really appreciate David and everyone else who has been supporting this effort. I'm chair of the Nolambika Project, and basically I'm not really here because I'm part of the tribal coalition of stakeholders and interveners in the negotiations with First Light. So we have been working for 10 years on this. And I shared with Lynn Pledger, I just sent out our final offer to First Light last Wednesday. And we have been facing any number of challenges all along. But other people who have been working with us are Joe Gravelin of Northfield, and he's also been at this for longer than I have, for easily 10 to 12 years. Rich Holshoe is a spokesman for the El Nu Abenaki, and Liz Coldwind of the Chibunagungumog Band of Nipmuc Indians. So we have formed the tribal coalition in dealing with the relicensing. So I'm standing here in the stead of Liz, who there was a serious health issue with her sister 2 days ago, and so she had to leave, not be here, and David asked me to fill in. So I hope you'll be patient with me as I go through the remarks that I have. But what I've done in numerous situations is a land acknowledgement, which you may have already heard from Joe, but this is the one that I've been working on. It's in some ways you're very familiar with these, but I'm going to go with this because I think there's quite a message there. So I start with, we must remember we're standing on and benefiting from indigenous lands. Our homes, schools, businesses, and churches are built upon land that has been and continues to be indigenous homelands. The First Peoples, the Pecumtuck, the Agawam, the Norwatuk, Nonotuk, Orinoco are not gone. Their voices are still here in the air that we breathe. This is still the place where their modern-day descendants, the Nipmuc and the Abenaki, join their Pecumtuck ancestors across fluid lines of time and space. We acknowledge the continued presence, resilience, and sovereignty of the Nipmuc and the Abenaki. And as I said, they have played a major role in this tribal coalition in dealing with First Light and the relicensing process. One of the things that, in addition to acknowledging the land, of course, is to acknowledge the rivers that have sustained us for so long. There is the Pocumtuck. We have come to call it the Deerfield River. The name was changed, I guess, about 400 years ago or less, give or take. There is the Pocomegan, the Green River, the Pagwag, where many of us met on the bridge over the river there. The Pagwag is known as the clear water flowing through open land. So all of these indigenous names have a meaning. They sound good, better than in English, but nevertheless, they have a name that they have known for thousands of years. And of course, the river behind us is the Quinectakut in Nipmuc and the Quinnetekwa in Abenaki. I like to stress that this is an intertribal space. This is where the Pecumtuck, the Abenaki, the Nipmuc met in very fluid lines of homelands. So this was a very important place all up and down this river, and certainly within the radius of 16 miles around the Great Falls. We've been taught also by Indigenous elders at a meetings such as this that we should really gather our minds together, focus on one particular thing, and that is to be grateful and thankful. So we give thanks to each of the four directions. We give thanks for this beautiful day. We give thanks to our ancestors who have guided us and who are here with us now. We give thanks to the last 7 generations and the next 7 generations in whose name we walk the right path and for whom we work every day for their future. We give thanks to all the beautiful feathered and furred beings who accompany us and who are our kinfolk and our teachers. We give thanks to our beautiful flowers, forests and plains, to our rivers whose waters have sustained us. Important message is that we don't have to pray to ask for anything. All this has already been given to us. So what do we do with what has been given to us? That's a whole subject of conversation. So this afternoon, I want to take just a few more minutes to remind us and remind you that the sacred living waters that, taken together with our Mother Earth, provide us with all that we need to survive. Water is life. Indeed, if we were to visit and view this earth and its rivers through indigenous eyes, we would see a beautiful world called Turtle Island. Not just a continent marked by political boundaries, full of hope and fraught with contradictions, strife, and occasional moments of peace. We would see through indigenous eyes a sacred earth formed on the back of a giant turtle swimming through landless waters. We would see Sky Woman falling toward us and caught in her fall by feathered beings, placed gently and safely on the turtle's back. We would witness our kinfolk, non-human beings, seeking to help Sky Woman, not trying to tempt her like a certain serpent in a certain text, not trying to tempt her into some sort of sin that would banish and shame women forever, but rather to help her in her role as life giver. The deep swimming furred beings dove in search of a substance later called earth, to bring up that substance to the turtle and to Sky Woman. Sky Woman began to dance, and the more she danced, the more that substance spread over the turtle's back to become this very sacred earth that we are honoring. Indeed, this is why indigenous people dance all over the surface of Turtle Island to honor creation, Sky Woman, and the earth. So I also want to remind us how fortunate we are in this very place where 5 rivers join so near to us, in this place where the mysteries, myths, and spiritualities have forever blessed this spot. If you were to rise up hundreds of feet into the air to look down upon this part of Turtle Island, you would see living rivers joining here in an eternal confluence. The Pocummagun, Green River, the Wanaschuk, the Fall River, the Bagwag, the Millers River, the Pecumpituk, Deerfield, and the mighty Quinnipiac. So you have to realize how lucky we are. This is a confluence where indigenous peoples joined for more than 10,000 years. We live in a very special, highly charged place, and we should realize and honor this. Our plains and hills, forests and shores are nourished by our rivers the earth provides, but the rivers nourish and sustain. Yet in this magical and spiritual place, even beloved by dinosaurs 200 million years ago, human beings have left their mark. We know from the archaeological record that humans came to this place at least 15,000 years ago. Indeed, not far from the mouth of the Millers, there is an archaeological site where materials have been found going back 13,500 years. People have journeyed to this place because of the spiritual value, the sense that they had here, and we are still here. Those earliest Paleo-Indian people and their modern day descendants, the Pocumtuck, the Abenaki, and the Nipmuc, have lived their histories here. The earth with her hills and rivers remind and remember those tribal people of their beginnings. Our rivers hold memory. They know their names, given to them. The names they carried for 14,000 years. They were renamed about 400 years ago. But I like to remind people they respond. They remember their first names when called. You can stand in the Pagwag, the Millers River. You can stand in the Bokumugan. You can stand in the Roaniaschuk. You can stand in the Quinnipiac. And if you call out their names, she knows her name and she will respond. I like to mention that as an indigenous historian, I've had occasion to come across land deeds. Native people inherited land, inherited the responsibility of stewarding land. I'd like to evoke the name of a woman leader, a woman sachem, Mishalisk. She resisted what we now call corporate greed. She refused to turn over her lands that were in modern day Sunderland all the way down to the falls. She refused to do that. She was finally coerced into turning over the land starting at Mount Sugarloaf at Weequamps. She also bequeathed to them the pensions. She bequeathed to them Mount Sugarloaf, Weequamps, where the rock drops off. The burden that giant beaver of Weequamps embodied, that was the burden of greed. So here we are 400 years later, still dealing with corporate greed, with a corporation that is seeking to continue to exploit and make money by damming our river. And I think I really appreciate the fact that you all realize that and have turned out on a day like this. I want to close with a poem that I found that was written by an indigenous person called Sherman Alexie. He is a Salish West Coast native. I took his poem. I tried to reach him saying I was going to change it, but I couldn't reach him. I couldn't get through, so I did it anyway. So I want you to hear Sherman Alexie's words with a little bit of a twist that applies to this day and this place. It's a little bit emotional. I have a hard time getting through it each time. Maybe I'll do it this time. But this is what came out of my rendition of Sherman's poem. It involves history, it involves the rivers. We have been told we must forgive Turner and Holyoke for 1676, and so maybe we shall. After an Indian woman puts her shoulder to that dam and topples it, and after another Abenaki woman has toppled the dams at Bellows Falls and Vernon. We are told by many that we must forgive, and maybe we shall, when the maw of the tunnel at Northfield is left to suck nothing but air. We are told by many that we must forgive, and maybe we shall after the flood waters burst each successive dam downriver from Peskiomska. We are told by many we must forgive, and maybe we shall after the flood waters find their way to the homelands of the Nahantic at the mouth of the Connecticut River as it enters the Sound and causes it all to rise. We are told by many we must forgive, and so perhaps we shall when the first drop of floodwater is swallowed by that waiting salmon in from the Atlantic. We are told by many we must forgive, and maybe we shall after that salmon swims upstream through the mouth of the Connecticut, past the flooded cities, broken dams, and ruined factories of Hartford, Springfield, and Holyoke. We are told by many that we must forgive, and so we shall after that salmon swims through the school of spawning sturgeon at Rock Dam, then upstream past the mouth of the Fall River until it arrives in the shallow pools of the secret Heel Brook, where we wait. We are told by many that we must forgive, and so we shall after that salmon leaps into the night air above the water and throws a lightning bolt at the brush near our feet and starts a fire. That fire will lead all of the lost Indians home. Kanochit, Mashalisk, Witamu, Matunas, Metacom, and all those others whose names cannot be known. We are told by many that we must forgive, and so we shall after the Indians have gathered around the fire with the salmon, who has 3 stories to tell. It must tell these stories before sunrise. One story will teach us how to pray. Another story will make us laugh for hours. A third story will give us reason to dance. We are told by many that we must forgive, and we shall when we are dancing with the Pecumtuck, the Nipmuc, the Narragansett, the Abenaki, and the Wampanoag at Peskiomska this next August. Thank you. Aho.
David Brule. And it was so quiet that I am sure the rivers heard you speak their proper name. Thank you for bringing our hearts and minds together, and now we are going to bring some musicians to the stage, starting with the inimitable, the original, and the one and only, no known address, Annie Hassett.
So miigwech to David Brule.
Hannah.
Thank you. All right now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. I'm singing one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Woke up this morning to the rising sun. 3 little birds on my doorstep, singing sweet song, pure melody, saying, this is a message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. I woke up this morning, rise with the smiling sun. 3 little birds on my doorstep, singing a sweet song, melody pure and true, saying, this is a message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Try joining in. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. I say one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. For the river, one love, one heart. Say let's get together and feel alright. I can't hear you. One love, one heart, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Say let's get together and feel alright. Woke up this morning, yes I did, with the rising sun. 3 little birds on my doorstep, singing a sweet song, a melody pure and true, saying, this is a message for you. Here we go. Don't worry about a thing, Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. I say one love, one heart. Say let's get together and feel alright. We're singing one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Thank you.
Okay, Bill Stubblefield.
I'd like to bring to the stage our very next speaker, a founder of No Salt and Batteries, Wendell, a scientist, and a member of the Wendell State Forest Alliance. Please welcome with me, Bill Stubblefield.
Thank you very much. It's great to see everyone here today. I want to talk about parasitism in a general way that goes beyond its usual biological meaning. Parasites are organized entities that draw critical resources from other organized entities, their hosts. Parasites may both help and harm their hosts, but the harm exceeds the help. Northfield's pump storage, Shutesbury's huge solar arrays, Wendell's massive battery installation, and many other similar projects are often portrayed as positive steps to a greener future, but they actually harm the environment as ecological parasites and harm the economy as financial parasites. Northfield Mountain Pump Storage is an ecocidal engine that literally sucks the life out of the river and hopes to do so for another half a century. The projects in Shutesbury and Wendell destroy forests and harm the climate by spewing stored carbon into the atmosphere in the near term and reducing carbon sequestration far into the future. Such projects do further harm by using energy and materials extracted from distant places in destructive ways. They offer some benefits, but they harm the environment even more. This is ecological parasitism. The sun and the earth are the energy and material sources of all human wealth. Sunlight, air, water, and land, these are the universal commons we must strive to reclaim, restore, and protect. Either we learn to live within the regenerative capacity of our one and only planet, or we perish. This is our predicament. These projects are financial parasites that suck money out of the pockets of energy users far beyond the costs to build, use, and maintain them. Suppose a utility decides to build a new generating or energy storage system. A building site must be secured, and the facility must be built. This may take a lot of money, but once paid for, the facility is available to use as needed, and the only ongoing expenses are for management and maintenance. On top of these necessary costs, however, these projects demand additional payment for the privilege of owning the facility and the cash flows they provide. This is unearned economic rent, a parasitic flow that makes electricity more expensive for all users and serves to transfer funds from the 99% to the 1%. This is financial parasitism. Parasites want to continue the gravy train. Hosts want to end it, and a kind of arms race develops. Many biological parasites are able to manipulate their hosts to make them behave in the interests of the parasite rather than themselves. Financial parasites do the same thing by influencing government officials, regulatory bodies, and voters to consider financial parasitism as normal, natural, and even valuable and worthy of subsidies, tax advantages, and other privileges. In this way, they are able to capture more resources, grow larger and more powerful, and find new ways to secure their position and drain even more resources from public needs. This built-in incentive for manipulation, false claims, and secrecies reinforces financial privilege and serves to disguise and protect the financial oligarchy that is always looking out for its own interests, whatever happens to the rest of us. The power of the people versus the power of the parasites. This is our struggle. There is no way to build a livable future without planning. The energy transition is not just another technical problem to be handed over to a group of experts. Nor is it a matter of getting the financial incentives just right for big money. The simple fact is that energy planning is now outsourced to financial parasites that always have their own interests at heart. This is a road to oblivion, not to a livable future. fundamental decisions are being made, decisions affecting our deepest values and our very survival. We must find the political will and solidarity to ensure that decisions that affect everyone include everyone. We need energy democracy, public financing, a public power for the public good.
Wow. That's our man in Wendell. I'm so proud of him. Anybody lose this key on a little yellow string? So, I don't think I have too much to add to what Bill just said, except I'm going to sing a little song. I want you to join me. You want to be up on this, Ben?
It's a beautiful song.
Out in the woods are the green, green trees, a laughing breeze and a home for bees. I hear them all singing happily. There is no battery, no salt and batteries. So say the green, green trees. No salt and batteries. Your climate is safe with me. Under the woods flows a clean, sweet stream, an aquifer with a cool, wet dream to share its waters with you and me. There is no battery, no salt and batteries. So says the sweet, clean stream. No salt and batteries. Please keep me fresh and clean. Beside the woods live a people proud. You and me, and we're needed now. It's up to us and we won't stand down. There is no battery, no salt and batteries. Come on and say it loud. No salt and battery. Let's stand together now. No salt and batteries. Come on and say it loud. No salt and batteries. Let's stand together now. Please keep me fresh and clean. Your climate is safe with me. So say the green, green tree.
Gord Dorsey, what a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Delights and surprises of the entire solar roller ride today. Hannah Zara from Shelburne Falls.
Thank you. All right, some of you just heard this song, some of you haven't heard it yet. It's called The Toy. It's about, this situation here. The whole world a toy at the end of a stick, and the fat-fingered boy who is brandishing it, knowing not who she is, knowing not what he does, We collectively pitch as he swings at a dove up above. The whole world a toy in a cage on his desk. He will stop between class to observe how she spins, how her land masses move and tectonic plates shift. He wants to know how it's done. He makes her do it again. He makes her do it again. The whole world a pet, he's learning to train, and the more he imposes, the more she obeys. Her reins redirected, her volcanoes contained into clad iron vessels that carve the terrain. Then to find there is blood that runs black neath the soil, to be saved from the primitive ways we once toiled. What a marvelous mission, our fishing the earth, for she kept all her jewels like a fool in the dirt. She did, she did. The whole world a woman he can't look in the eye, after giving her body to him in the night. Her full moon filleted in the strange yellow light. Her once glamorous cities are clamoring hives, and the bottomless oceans he so longed to swim. By daylight are tangles of cellophane fish, and he begs she be calm and not fissure and pitch, for her storms interfere with his satellite dish. They do, they do. Stone that he turns in his hand, all his worrying wearing a groove in the land. From this seemingly extemporaneous game, he only learned retrospectively just how to play. Still he boldly declares, if I know her at all, she's still keeping secrets deep down in the soil. And if that's not enough, the game still can be won with the wind through a pinwheel and the light from the sun. With the on and on, on and on, on and on, on and on. The whole world a looking glass turned on itself, where he watches him watching her turn on the shelf, where he watches his own sorry self turn away, for to unfold his dreams of an unspoiled place. For beneath this erecting of silica towers, he's terrestrially lonesome and beginning out, and compulsively longing to rise from the dust in unearthly perfection and the likeness of God. From his clad iron ship, isn't this what I wanted? Isn't this what I wanted? Isn't this what I want? Ooh, from his view from the top, isn't this what I wanted? Isn't this what I want? The whole world a toy that he loved as a kid, when he used to believe he was part of all that. The whole world a sadness inside of his chest. If only to be part of all that. I would swim in her rivers, I would drink from her breast, eat the fruit from her trees, fall asleep in the grass. I would swim in her rivers, I would drink from her breast, eat the fruit from her trees, fall asleep in the grass. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah, Zara, Shelburne Falls. We want to hear you many times in the years to come. Right now, we're going to bring up the last of the coalition partners and the most important for this event, members of the Connecticut River Defenders. Come to the stage.
Thank you all for being here. I understand that some folks would like to know more about what goes on here and what the intake is about here. So I'll just explain a little. This is the intake area over here. The river gets pulled backwards for miles and miles, in through here, underneath the road, up the mountain, through big turbines where everything that goes through that is churned up and mixed up and killed. So all the plants, all the fish, all the eggs, larvae, it all just gets chopped up and killed. And it goes up and the water goes up the mountain into a man-made reservoir, 300 acres, and they're looking to increase what they can hold in that area. And then when they let it down, it goes back through those turbines again, and all of that stuff gets spit out. So at a really high volume. And the First Light makes a huge amount of money on this. We've tried to find out how often does this plant get used for the special purposes of when there's energy need, extra energy need. When does it actually get used? It's paid millions of dollars to just hold back for those times. How much does it actually get used? How much are they paid for this? We're told we can't know. It's secret. Yeah. It's secret. Well, what don't you want us to know? I think we do know. Anyway, so that's what happens. You know, it pulls the river backwards, it kills everything, and the big company makes a lot of money, just like we heard Bill talk about. That's why we're all here together, is all of these groups, because we're all really fighting the same thing. And it's really great that we're all together now and that we can continue this fight. But this stuff isn't much fun if you don't have fun too, right? It's really hard and really depressing. So we're going to have a little fun. We've thought of, since the very beginning, to take some of that muck out of there and put it on the desk of those big officials at First Light. And we'll show you what it's like. Come on.
We just have to set up, excuse us.
Oh,
I could teach you some of our chants, though, while we're waiting. One of our chants goes, First Light lies, the river dies. 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 What were some of our other ones? Oh, I remember. We had another really great one that was, it's not green, it's a killing machine. 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 Woo! It's a killing machine. Yay! You know, I know this is just the beginning of spring. It's just the beginning of us working together in coalition. You know, we got to keep our shoes ready, keep our hats on the door, and get ready to come out. We'll be doing this again. Yeah. We'll make it more fun and more powerful every time. I'm imagining this whole area filled with people, because they'd be here if they knew. Some of you might be like me. When I first moved here, I didn't really know, how does this, you know, I didn't know anything about it. A lot of people who live in Irving don't know. They don't know how this works. People who live in Northfield don't know. One of the things that this company brags about, First Light, is that it's hidden in the mountain, that people don't even know it's there. Well, we're here today to say we do know it's there. and we do care. We want them to come out and be transparent. Why can't we find out this information? So these are the questions that drive us. But I say, like, I imagine this filled with people as people learn and understand more about what's happening. They're going to be here. They are here. People who have gone before us who are here, our ancestors. Those who are coming before us are looking for us to take action. I don't know if anybody of you saw my grandchild. He was here with me earlier today when we first met. And I'm wearing my grandson, who's 16-year-old. I'm wearing his shoes. And I keep them, deep in my heart and deep in my soul when I come out and fight. Okay, we're ready! Oh, I have to twist this somehow. Oh, take it out of the stand. Or could I do it? Oh, okay. How do you take it out? All right, you do it.
I'll do it.
All right.
I can hold it with this hand.
Ooh, what you got there?
Well, wait. Hi, folks. My name is First Light Freddy, and this is my assistant, Flo.
That would be Flo, no more to you.
So what does it have to offer?
Well, Flo No More will tell us all about it.
Yes, I will. Oh, yes. Miss Flo No More. That's my last name. That's what these smoothies will do to you.
The wonderful service it
Yes.
provides, and how we are so privileged that we can have our river and smoothie it too.
It's a fish smoothie.
So, Flo,
All right, so you can see what we have here. We have fresh from the river. Actually, it came right out of the spewing turbines. Some chum, as people call it. Oh, it looks delicious.
Fish heads in there.
and it's unfiltered natural.
Yes. We like it that way. Natural.
Now, here you are, Miss Flo. No more.
Is this a-
You put that down. Okay.
Delicious. Is that the right one?
Okay.
All right.
Here's
Here's to your health. Here's to the future. Woo!
I'll take one.
There you go.
You sure it's safe?
Oh, well, I don't know.
I see it.
I don't know
I
about
see
that.
the fish head in there.
I think that, Flo, you have more to say
All right, let me give it a try
about
here.
the disclaimer.
I need to make it clear we do have a disclaimer.
Oh,
We don't stand by or believe anything we just said.
You know?
But it pays well, wink, wink, wink. You know what I mean? Health problems have been associated by people ingesting our smoothies.
It's good.
Hair loss. Do you have hair under that hat?
Not much.
Headaches.
Boy, that happened fast.
Headaches, insomnia, diarrhea, and vomiting, all the favorites. So you can, try that for a first date and see how that turns out. It causes general anxiety, and it can even cause death. Excess concern about the future of the planet Earth and all the inhabitants is a common but very, very treatable symptom. You just need large doses of alcohol. Some people just worry too much. They're worry warts. So enjoy. Don't worry, be happy. Here's the first one to first light. Guaranteed to turn off your lights.
And remember, in case of sudden death, just call your mortician.
Here's to you.
Oh, we have more.
So thank you to the fish smoothie people. Yeah. That's what we do for entertaining ourselves. Connecticut River Defenders developed after hearing Carl Myers explain how Northfield Mountain pump storage destroys life on the Connecticut River. And our alignment with the Shutesbury Solar, Noah Salt and Batteries, and Wendell State Forest Alliance, and also, of course, with the solar rollers, is birthed from our assertion that corporate America is influencing our government to accept profit-making false solutions to the climate, environmental, and biological diversity crisis. Since forming, Connecticut River Defenders have met with a number of stakeholders who are engaged in First Light's attempts to reach agreement on the station's 50-year relicensing. We learned that First Light's undemocratic control of this process has segmented the stakeholders, not allowing them to converse with one another and insisting on non-disclosure to signatures and keeping the public from knowledge of the whole process. We've met with government officials and learned that they stubbornly support the pump station. The Connecticut River Defenders' last action in November of '23 involved a mock court case in which we accused First Light and our state government officials of violating the rights of nature. Community members testified about First Light's harmful and deadly effects on the Connecticut River ecosystem. Judges and ultimately the audience unanimously concluded that yes, indeed, the rights of nature were violated. Living rivers flow downstream and don't end up in toxic smoothies. These are our demands. 1, tell the truth. First Light's assertion that the Northfield Mountain Pump Storage Station is clean and will lead us into the clean energy future must be confronted and exposed as false. This multinational conglomerate is generating huge profits at the expense of rivers and ratepayers. Their campaign posts that they're providing recreational, environmental, and community contributions when all of that is required under the public trust mandate. They gift ratepayers with our own money. Our second demand is that they shut it down. First Light's Northfield Mountain Pump Storage Station uses fossil fuels to force Connecticut River backwards for 5 miles, suctioning water up the mountain when prices are low for later release at peak prices. Buy low, sell high. It uses 1/3 more energy than it releases, with no new net energy. 20 miles of river are impacted by the river's suction, killing countless fish, eggs, and larvae in huge turbines. It's a false solution to the climate emergency. Ratepayers are footing the bill to kill the Connecticut River. 3, restoration. First Light must invest its massive profits in restoring the riverbanks from the effects of erosion secondary to unnatural, frequent, and daily water level changes. Life that's lost cannot be saved, but reestablishment of aquatic life and habitats is critical to restoring the ecosystem. 4, demand our public servants remove themselves from their entanglement with First Light and all the other false climate solutions provided by corporations. Their support for the relicensing of Northfield Mountain Pump Storage Station is contrary to the needs of the planet and people. 5, land back. A more just, productive, and healing use of Northfield Mountain would be for First Light to return the land to Indigenous peoples. Indigenous stewardship of the land rooted in reciprocity and mutuality would certainly assure a much healthier and safer environment for all. Please see our website in order for you to comment to FERC. And also, there'll be a link to take action to further the Indigenous bills presently in the Massachusetts legislature. Our website is ConnecticutRiverDefenders.org. Thanks so much for coming and joining the fight to save the ecology of this beautiful river. And thank you to all the people who spoke. You're amazing speakers, and to the beautiful, wonderful musicians who really made all of this so much fun. And to the riders and walkers.
Thank you, Miriam Kurland, and all the Connecticut River Defenders and Smoothie Blenders. And thank you to our audience who are going to be delighted to have one last speaker in the form of my next door neighbor from Great Falls, Adit Kunya.
I'm not as tall as you are. Hello. Hi, can everyone hear me? Okay, well, so my neighbor David, about a year ago, I showed up at my select board's meeting. I think I was the only person, actually, to protest their signing of that 50-year agreement. And almost a year later, my neighbor David sent me that. I did write to him and say I was going to be doing that. He sent me the email that I wrote him with my testimony and said, you got to come read this. So here I am. So it's kind of old information, but it's still very pertinent. That's why we're still here. I delivered this to the select board in Montague, Great Falls, on May 15th. And I think it was that very same day that they went ahead and signed that agreement, which committed the town to that contract. So I'm going to just read what I said that night. Okay. First Light Power final draft for settlement agreement with stakeholders, of which the town of Montague is one. Looking at this list of stakeholders, I see the town of Montague as the only one where I, as taxpayer and citizen of this town, fall under, and I am therefore voicing my objection to the town of Montague signing this agreement. Nothing the power company is willing to give stakeholders, and they were willing to give us an additional picnic table on somewhere along the bank, as well as access points to the river, but not access points they were willing to put in. These would be paid for by public funds. So they were willing to give us these two things in order for our signature on that document as a town. Nothing of this is worth the fact that we, as a town, are then held under legal obligation to become lobbyists for First Light Power in any future issue involving our river. Anything that comes up before the FERC, whoa! We would be obligated, and I got this information from Carl Meyer, we're obligated to go on record in support of whatever it is, for 50 years, and to never be able to defend this river in the issues of fish and flow. We signed away that right last May 15th as a town. The town of Montague has no business signing up to become lobbyists, or let's call it becoming a tool for a private venture capital corporation for the next 50 years. Who would agree to this for a picnic table? For river access and improvements to power company they're not even willing to pay for. In agreeing to this, selectmen would in essence be committing my 3-year-old grandson to this agreement and limiting his rights to this river until he is 53 years old, or now 54. What does the town attorney think about this? Well, at this meeting, I was somewhat berated and shamed for showing up. I have since learned that the town has now signed as an intervener. And I don't understand the interaction between having signed the agreement a year ago and now being an intervener. But I'm hoping that my showing up that night had a little to do with it. And I'm going to be looking more into that to learn more about it. With that, I want to say thank you for being here. I want to reiterate what a previous speaker said, whose name I can't remember, about finding someone who's 40 and 29. Even if each of us found 2 people who would be willing to show up or write to the FERC, which we can still do until May 22nd. May 22nd, we can still write to them. Let's do it. Just a few voices can make a big change. Please, let's do it. Thank you for being here. There'll be more music after me.
And that's it. Edith Cunha, citizen activist, Portuguese grandmother, saying, don't sell our river for the next 50 years. We're going to close out with one more song, Ben Goros Cup.
Thank you. Hannah, Court, Annie, come on up here. Yeah. Okay, we got one last song.
Hello, hello.
I want to invite people to come a little closer. Let's have a deal. We'll turn the sound system down just a little bit and invite you guys to come a little closer so that we can hear each other. Because singing along works a lot better when we're closer. All right. Yeah, we'll get close to other people. Like, oh, is there someone close to me? Yes? No? Okay, that's the logic flow. All right. Friends, we are here at a place that I think we can call a sacrifice zone. This river, the logic of capitalism is a logic that turns vibrant, important places into dust. Vibrant places, vibrant ecologies like this river, which has existed for millennia, getting simplified by, as we saw with the fish smoothie, you take a complex ecosystem, you simplify it by chopping up all the fish and then turning it into a big slurry. But the world is beautiful. Yes. And the people who live in the world are beautiful people. Yes. But somehow this system of capitalism turns these beautiful people, these beautiful places, into little nothings, little empire nothings. And the logic that makes that happen, it connects what's happening here at this pump station to what's happening in Wendell, what's happening in Shutesbury. I dare say it connects us to the entire world, because this same logic unfolds everywhere, including through war. And you think about what our government does, the number one thing our government spends money on is war. And the Congress right now is increasing funding for war, sending more weapons to Ukraine, sending more weapons to Israel. It's a disgrace. So this song is called No More Sacrifice Zones. I hope you'll sing along with it. The army closed you in as they drove you from the plains. They're turning your city, wait, we'll try that again. They're turning your homeland to a sacrifice zone. They're turning your homeland to a sacrifice zone. The company took the uranium, just the fallout remains. They're turning your homeland to a sacrifice zone, where your story's been forgotten. We will make it known. Sing, we will make it known. We will make it known. Pine Ridge, you are not alone. Pine Ridge, homeland has been desecrated, the next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. The state makes voting obsolete through emergency decrees. They're turning your city to a sacrifice zone. The cops occupy your street to bring you to your knees. They're turning your city to a sacrifice zone where your story's been forgotten. Where your story's been forgotten. We will make it known. We will make it known. Ferguson, you are not alone. Ferguson, you are not alone. Your city has been subjugated. The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. The coalmen blew the mountain, killing everything nearby. They're turning your region to a sacrifice zone. The state refuses to help your people as you watch them die. They're turning your region to a sacrifice zone where your story's been forgotten. Where your story's been forgotten. We will make it known. Appalachia, Appalachia, you are not alone. Your region has been desolated. The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. The fighter jets will cut you down to push you all away. They're turning your nation to a sacrifice zone. The bombs that kill your children came from the USA. They're turning your nation to a sacrifice zone where your story's been forgotten. We will make it known. Palestine, Palestine, you are not alone. Your nation has been decimated. The next could be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. Where your story's been forgotten, we will make it known. Pine Ridge, Ferguson, Appalachia, Yemen, Immokalee, Flint, Michigan, Northern Alberta, and Camden, Standing Rock, Navajo, Palestine, and Puerto Rico. We stand with you. You are not alone. Your lands and lives were sacrificed. The next will be our own. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones. No more sacrifice zones.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Look, the sun came out to see us off. It's been a wonderful day. Thank you all so much. We will see you the next time. From No Assault and Batteries, Smart Solar Shutesbury, Connecticut River Defenders, the Solar Rollers, the Wendell Forest Alliance. Goodbye. Have a lovely day.